Hey yo. Welcome to the PML Wrestling Show. It is March 18th, Friday. You guys are listening live, obviously, hopefully on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts, but we are the PML Crew. Rich Lopez, Homeboy Malloy, Top Shelf, Robert Price. Homeboy, how you doing, man?
Dude, I'm doing good, man.
Good.
Hanging out, another week, another day, another dollar.
I feel you. Same here. Very, very busy. I got to see the Homeboy St. Patty's Day Parade in Wilkes Body. How you feeling, man? It was a little nippy out there, dude.
It was cold. I'm not gonna lie.
We
canceled our gigs on Saturday night, and I was very happy.
You're so old.
I know.
Dude, like 6 years, Homeboy, dude, you'd be out there.
Oh, dude, I would have went out in the snow. I would have skied home.
Same outfit, everything, yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot it was really snowy. So, that's cool, though. It was fun, though, like, overall?
Yeah, overall, good time.
Any more gigs?
Yeah, playing on Thursday. I'm playing a couple different bars. And then Saturday, I'm playing a wedding. So
nice.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Someone's basement. I don't know. Whatever they're paying, so it is what it is.
In somebody's basement?
Yeah.
Hey, cheapest wedding probably ever, so shout out to that.
Yeah.
But no, like I said, it was really cool, but you guys sounded good, obviously, for like the 30 seconds that I heard you guys. But I'm glad you had like a nice little parade season. Is this the last weekend?
Yeah. Yeah, because we would be doing another gig Friday, but missing that. My brother's getting a cooking award, so we're going.
What?
Yeah.
Q, what's up, baby? We got to bring him on. So
we do.
That's so crazy because not this past weekend. It was sometime during the week last week. It actually might have been when I was editing or just putting together the audio for the episode. I was like, I was like, I don't know why it came up. Were we doing something with 02 or something? But I always think of like you and your brother when it comes to 2002. So I'm like, we have to get Q back on.
We do.
Or just on in general.
On. Yeah, we'll do that.
Maybe for a watch. We have to definitely do SummerSlam watch along.
SummerSlam
like
watch 02. We'll do this.
Like a match or two.
Taker versus the Un-Americans.
Yeah, something like that. But I'm glad you had a good week. I did see your brother there too playing, so that's awesome. You guys got to do that together. My weekend was I had basketball, but it got canceled because of the snow. So my kids couldn't play in the playoffs. So we can't make it up.
Damn.
Always next year. So
that's a kick in the pants.
Sorry, kids, but hopefully I have some of you guys next year and we could roll with it. But we'll see. But anyway,
overall, it was a good coaching season.
For me, I feel like I underperformed for the kids, so I'm just very hard on myself for everything. And that also could be true. Maybe I wasn't good enough, but everybody says I'm too hard on myself when I ask them for like advice. But no, the kids played hard. The thing with the developmental is like, obviously, there's certain kids at different levels, so the first thing you always want to do is just make it fun for them. Now, travel's starting up, which is starting to take some time for me, too, on the personal time. So, Christine, shout out, because you're holding the fort down. But that's where you get a little bit more harder. Like, this is what we got to do, because we're playing these city teams, Philly, New Jersey, Baltimore, Delaware, New York teams. And they
live by the ball, die by the ball.
they're not lollygagging like some of these kids do here. Like,
those kids are trying to get scholarships, man.
It's a mentality. Like the kids here are good. Like I think there's actually good enough talent here.
Yeah, I would agree.
Especially like with My Sky, but there's a mentality switch that they just don't turn on. Where like some of these other kids, like they'll warm up and joke around like our kids, but as soon as that like tip off starts, it's like, all right, we're trying to win by 50. Like I feel like our teams don't do that. It's just, and it's honestly I feel like because we're obviously like a city, like Wilkes-Barre, Scranton's like a city. But it's not nearly like a fast-moving city like a New York or New Jersey.
It's not.
So like the mentality is just not there. You know what I mean? And like we try to like instill that, and obviously, the reason why we're trying to instill it to them is because like we've been through it. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't do travel, but I'm saying like you're old enough to see the difference. Like you went to college and got to meet all these kids. You can see the difference with how people are wired. You know what I mean? I think you and I are luckily kind of wired that way, but obviously. There were times growing up where you just didn't understand it. You know what I mean? Because that's how I was. Now that you're older and you're in the job market, you see it.
Life experience.
These kids are, I'm doing 9th grade, so they're 15, 16. They have no idea. You know what I mean? Because I never had a clue.
Exactly.
So we're trying to like, you guys are good, but you have to start, like from start to finish, you have to show it. Like there's no warm up into the warm up.
Yeah,
like,
after the third quarter, you can't just be like,
let's play now. No, because you're already down by 25.
Yeah.
And then the thing with travel is if there's ever like a tiebreaker, obviously, the first thing you would do is go head-to-head, but then the next thing, to see if you guys, like, for your seedings or whatever, it goes by, like, margin of victory. So, like, there's no sportsmanship in travel. Like, you're up by 50, let's slow the clock, let's slow our offense down. It's like, no. Like you want them if not.
We're gonna be up by 60.
Yeah, if you're down by 20, you're trying to get to 40. If you're down by 40, you're trying to get to 70. If you're down by 10, you're trying to get the lead to 20. So it's a different playing field with travel compared to the developmental. So it's even harder like as a coach because like we have no break. So like last week would have been our last week for developmental, and then this week it's like all right. Like, not drill sergeant per se, but it's, like, more stern because everybody on travels should be at the same level or at least understand the same level.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, shit, that's cool.
Yeah. But anyway, enough personal talk, I guess, or
hey, I enjoy
basketball
it, man.
talk. No,
it's
me
cool.
too, of course. I agree. But we're going to talk a little wrestling here. Obviously, we're going to start off, if you heard me say, hey, yo, you guys obviously know, especially if you guys are 90s fans, Scott Hall passed away at 63 due to a surgery complication that kind of went haywire. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Obviously, we're going to talk a little bit about Cody Rhodes because, like, earlier in the week, it was he's probably going to come after Mania, and now all of a sudden he's pretty much expected to be at WrestleMania. In what way or fashion we could probably discuss. We'll probably sidetrack and segue for another couple topics because
of course,
they're the only two topics that we kind of have written down outside of the Triple H WrestleMania resume, which we're going to talk about. So. What did we do last week? Oh, we did WrestleMania 7 last week. Before that, we did a couple of the resumes. I know we did Undertaker for pretty much a whole episode.
Wait, we did WrestleMania 7?
We rebooked it.
We rebooked it, right?
Yeah.
So why did that guy message us and ask us to redo WrestleMania 7?
Probably to, like, actually review it match by match. Because, like, we reread the results.
Yeah.
But we didn't really talk about it.
We wouldn't do that. But hey, thanks for listening.
But we might.
Yeah,
we'll see
might
what happens.
eventually. It was a cool topic.
I mean, it was a really cool topic. I mean, I would do personally a better pay-per-view, but at the same time, I'm always down to hear what the guests want to hear. So if they ever want us to review a whole pay-per-view like we used to do, we actually used to do review of pay-per-views. Yeah. But it obviously led to a rebooking. So, I mean, we kind of did that, but maybe because we're approaching that 1 hour. Actually, we're at 1:10, so we try to wrap it up quick. Yeah. So we'll just try to it's probably on my fault or, because I am looking at the time here. Well, I'm trying to with my squinty eyes. I am trying to monitor the time here, so that's my fault. We could have did a little bit more time, I guess, in the recapping form of it. But this week, just to kind of go back to the WrestleMania resumes, we are going to do Triple H. Like I said, we've done Bret Hart, we've done Undertaker, we've done Flair, we've done Savage. I think that's all we've done. So we'll probably do Triple H this week and then maybe something else next week. But anyway, let's start off with Scott Hall, obviously. To me, I was always a Shawn Michaels fan, and then, like, Diesel. I mean, it was almost like, it's weird. The new generation, I feel like, is kind of like a forgotten about era in wrestling because it was right after the Hogan era. And obviously that was so successful. But obviously right after that was the new generation era. That's what they're kind of known for, like not being the biggest guys, not being over the top per se. But you obviously had Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, Diesel / Kevin Nash, Undertaker. So you had like those five. Those are like the five pillars of that generation. For me, I mean, I always knew Bret Hart was like probably the best in ring at that time. But then I was like, I like Shawn and Razor probably more. And then Diesel was like kind of right behind him. I think Taker could have been up there too, but just the feuds that they gave him were like, I felt I don't know if Vince like shuffled 5 cards to somebody and was like, yo, whoever has the highest card is gonna have the shittiest feuds. And I feel like Taker and Diesel got like the 2 highest because Diesel got shitty feuds, Undertaker got worse feuds. So
and honestly, for even Taker's sake, if you look back at that, the only good feud and Diesel, the only good feud I think they had was really against each other.
I was gonna say WrestleMania 12,
Shawn
right?
Michaels.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane. So all that to say, Scott Hall was definitely one of the 5 pillars of that new generation era. And then a lot of, even on the wrestling side, so obviously that's from our fan perspective before I toss it to you. On the wrestling side, he kind of gave that layout of contractual, like, hey, I'm a really big player in WWE. WCW's reaching out to me. They're offering me less dates and a downside guarantee. So, like, I have at least a flat rate because back in the 90s, as you know, obviously, like, you would pretty much just make your dates, and that was your pay. You would have maybe a percentage of merchandising, but obviously that's not
they just got something in your T-shirts, but heels didn't get T-shirts.
Well, he was a face usually, like post, but even then it's like it's a percentage, so you don't know what you're going to make monthly. You know what I mean? So like, he kind of started the downside guarantee, talked to Kevin Nash. Obviously, Kevin Nash, got interest from WCW and then went with him, formed the Outsiders, and then formed probably the biggest faction of the 90s, at least on the U.S. side, with the NWO. And Hulk Hogan kind of alluded to it in the Scott Hall tribute that Hulkamania was dead in '96. Like, it was too cartoonish. Nobody wanted to see it.
Yeah.
Scott Hall and Kevin Nash were like, hey, like, this is the cool side now. You can see the crowd kind of turning, and then it kind of definitely revitalized Hogan's career. So I gave the layout of like of his importance in the '90s on WWE side, in ring, out of the ring, and then WCW side, in ring, out of the ring. What do you think about Scott Hall?
Honestly, dude, he's definitely a pioneer for making heels cool.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you go back, like, obviously I didn't watch wrestling in 1995, 1994, because I was 2.
I say you wouldn't remember. Right?
I wouldn't remember any
You probably
of
were
that.
watching it. You just don't remember.
Yeah. And so, like, going back and watching all this stuff with Shawn Michaels, with 1-2-3 Kid, with Savio Vega, all that old WWE, even when he was with Ric Flair, Mr. Perfect, that whole thing going on, that was awesome. He was a mainstay. I wish he became world champion at one point. I think if he stuck around, he probably would have. But going and his experience even in NWO just kind of shows you that he was more of even, like, his matches meant something. He was a good wrestler, but he had so many moments, like his vignettes, his stuff with the NWO. Even that storyline he had with Larry Zbyszko was cool. And And that took forever for them to even wrestle.
Yeah, it was a good build. It went to Starrcade '97, which is obviously one of the biggest pay-per-views in WCW history. So, I mean, he was... and the thing, too, even, like, I feel like that was kind of like we always say, like, the downfall of WCW. So, like, '98 was kind of like... Their ratings were more on the reputation of the last 2 years, but '98 is kind of when he started that hey yo and like the survey. So like even he was evolving with his promos. Is like, all right, well the crowd's starting to get a little catchphrasy, so let me think of that, and that's where the hey yo came in, and then the survey with who came here to see WCW. You hear the cheers, and then the NWO, and then no matter what the results were, whatever the reaction was, he would always say one more for the good guys or whatever. So I just felt like he was like one of the, and I think I've said this too, like. If you can get, like, a booker from, like, a past wrestler, like, who would it be? I'm pretty sure I said, like, Scott Hall a couple times, like, as a wrestler. Because I listen to those shoot interviews. I always say this all the time, like, for how crazy the Clique was and how much heat they have, like...
Everyone says he's one of the best wrestling minds.
Yeah, I think he remembers every city, every date. So does Nash. It's like, you can definitely tell that they...
They care, man.
Yeah, they cared. Like, yeah, they might have been a little political, but... You tell me anybody that was at the top that wasn't political, like in that era, when it was like make all the money you can.
Yeah, you want to stay at the top too. You think obviously Tom Brady kind of probably lobbies for some of his spots.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like
he just pulled a Hogan.
He really did. He pulled an MJ Hogan. Yeah, I completely agree. So yeah, I just always hate that politic talk. I mean, yeah, there's obviously better ways to go around it, but in the '90s. I would say this the '90s and obviously in the '80s, it was like a dog-eat-dog world. It's like make your money while you can. Yeah. You never know if you take that wrong bump and it's over. I.e., Big E, unfortunately. I mean, luckily he's safe. I think. I mean, we don't know the long-term effects, but you never know when you have that bad bump. So I get the, like the mentality of, like we kind of talked about that, just kill or be killed. You know what I mean? In regards to finances. So, I definitely think he had the mind for that, like I said, with the downside guarantees. I thought he had the mind psychologically with the promos, like I said, with the catchphrases evolving, and like you talked about with the vignettes and all that stuff. And then in the ring, even as, like, I feel like he was an over-the-top gimmick that, like, just stayed the course, like with the Scarface-esque, like Razor Ramon gimmick. But he had great matches with Bret Hart, like you said, 1-2-3 Kid, Shawn Michaels, Diesel had a great feud in '94. And that's what I was going to ask you right now. I'm going to ask you 2 questions, and then I'll just kind of maybe we can wrap it up there with Scott Hall. Best feuds or feud, like whoever you want to pick. Do you think he's the biggest name that never won a title? I know sometimes you say Piper, but I mean, or give me a ranking of where he would be at, maybe. And then biggest, how... Most influential people in the '90s, where do you think does he rank in regards to wrestling?
Definitely.
I know I'm throwing those out at you.
Definitely for a feud basis, Shawn Michaels, because that was such a good feud, and those matches like really showed that Razor Ramon was more than just a character. Like wrestling ability was off the charts. For like not ever winning a world title, I mean, I think Piper's always going to be number 1. He's always the guy who just should have got the belt.
Yeah. I forgot to open.
And it was kind of. too, like even Razor said, he's like, I just want it to be a Tito Santana, man.
You did.
And I don't think he wants to carry the weight of, like, imagine all that, like, back, especially in the 90s, all that stuff. And
there were parties.
He had already had demons to begin with, so it's like, you know, hard time. Like, that would have been a hard time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that. I don't think Vince probably didn't have faith in him, maybe. I don't know.
That's always a question, yeah.
And then with respects to the 90s, I think he's in the top 10. I guess maybe, like, lower echelon between 5 and 10 because he was kind of like, you know, he was kind of like Piper in the 80s, more or less. Like, always in the mix, but never the champion, never the main event. Like, because Piper really was only ever the main event when Hogan was in the picture.
Yeah.
If not, he was on somewhere else in the card, wrestling Bret Hart, stuff with Goldust for Piper, for instance. And then same with, you know, Scott Hall. Like, if it wasn't Shawn Michaels, he was in there wrapping it up with. He was in a storyline with, 1-2-3 Kid over a baby carriage, getting hit with that.
The diaper baby.
Yeah. Or it's like, you know, he was in storylines with, you know, Larry Zbyszko where it wasn't a main event, but it was a really good storyline.
Yeah.
He was in, like, if it wasn't the NWO. So something like that. Or he did that drunk gimmick for a while. So it's like he did do a lot and had a lot of great matches. And it's even the AWA, like, it speaks for itself. I mean, him and Kurt Hennig were like the top two guys that come out of that territory.
Yeah.
So it's like, obviously, very lasting impact. It's a shitty situation. He's only 63. Seems like he just got his life back.
I would say like 3 years ago, right? Yeah, like 3 years ago, he was just, you know, or 4 years ago, couldn't even walk, got his life together, had to get hip surgery, got complications from it, and then even off life support. He was off life support for 6 hours
before he died.
Before he passed away. So like you could tell he was a fighter. For me, I definitely think the best feud is Shawn, but because you said that, I'll go Diesel probably. I really wish him and Brett had a couple more matches because their match at the Rumble '93 is one of my favorite Rumble matches, like singles matches of all time. And then they had a really good King of the Ring match. But because those are the only two matches, I'll go Diesel because that whole '94, the summer of '94, they feuded. I think I've always said this, like the thing with Piper or like Jake or like DiBiase, they were in that Hogan era. The people with, I mean, obviously there was a brand split in the Cena era, so some people were like secondary main champions, but if you're in the Cena era, they probably wouldn't have been champions because I feel like those names were so big.
Especially that 05 to 07.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he was like champion all the time.
Exactly.
I mean, he was literally champion for like 2 years at one point.
But I'm saying there was a world heavyweight champion, so if you wanted to give somebody the belt, like you could have given them the world heavyweight championship. Obviously, Batista was just as strong, that was kind of like
Batista
a bottleneck.
had the championship like that long as well.
So I always say like the new generation was like the best era I think to have like multiple faces of the company just to see who you wanted to ride with, and because of that I've always said Razor should have been. I think he's the biggest name, but I have like I guess it's like 1A 1B because it's like Razor and then like Owen.
Yeah.
I think Owen. I mean, you could maybe I would probably say Owen then Razor, but like it's really close because like Owen and his feud with Brett is like so perfect to where like Owen could have won the title and then lost it back to Brett. Or Razor, it's like I don't want him beating Brett. He was a face. I don't want him beating Diesel. He was a face, and there was really no heel for him to beat if he was the face. So like I don't really know. So I'll go Owen. I would have Razor at number 2 because. Yeah, Brett was probably the face of the new generation, but it wasn't by a big gap. Like, compared to, like, Hogan and then who was it? Like, 4 years later, it became Warrior. You know what I mean? And then it was those two. Yeah. And then after that, it was like, okay, you have Brett and Shawn, but
Diesel was in the mix. Taker was in the mix.
Yeah, there were so many people in the mix in that era. Yeah,
you know, and then Austin, and then you know what I mean.
And it was like Austin and Rock. So it's like you're not gonna touch that.
There was Mankind, and there was Triple H. But,
yeah.
So it wasn't like a 5-year stretch, or like even when Bruno Sammartino's era.
Oh my God, he had like 7 years.
Yeah, imagine be the guy just laying on your back to Bruno every night, and you're just like, yeah, I'm getting a paycheck, but it's like, I don't know, like what I feel in wrestling. If what I got in wrestling for is you want to be a champion, like you want to be respected to your peers, respected by the audience. So it's like I still like I'm the type of person. It's like even though I know it's a gimmick, brother, I still want to be a champion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So when we were doing the Sanctuary stuff or just independent wrestling in general, I always wanted to be the secondary champion.
Yeah.
So I guess I was like Razor because Razor wanted to be that because again you don't have the pressure of being there every week, even though we were there every week. But I also didn't mind like
we're there more than the champion.
Yeah, it's true. But what was I gonna say? Like, I just think that's a good thing to be like a level, like level tester. Like Razor always said, like if you beat me, you go to the main roster, like the main event. If you don't, you're either going to stay here for a couple more months or you're going to go down and then work your way back up. So I always wanted to kind of be like that, and then maybe get one shot at the main event title, if not win it, and then lose it and go back down. But I will say, speaking of secondary champions, and obviously Razor being IC champion multiple times, I think he was a 4-time or 5-time. Do you think he's the best Intercontinental champion ever, or up there?
Honestly, yeah, he is. I would say number 2 would be Chris Jericho.
I say I have Jericho, then Razor.
Yeah, I would put Razor first, just because I feel like I think at one point in time the Intercontinental title, when he had it, was more important than the world title.
You could definitely make that argument, 100%.
I mean, I feel like when Jericho had it, you were just like, that's the secondary guy. Like if there was a brand split at that point in time when Jericho had all those Intercontinental, he would have been world champion instead of 9 times. Like the 4 times he had it, he'd be like a 14-time world champion.
Yeah, no, I got you. That makes sense. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, I'll just stick with my number 2.
And that's why, looking at current wrestling market, I really hope they put the titles together just so they could, because I feel like the Intercontinental title, like if I was
first of all, it looks
in
like
the hunt
shit
for wrestling. Oh yeah, the white one looks like shit. Yeah.
Wait, what white one?
Oh, the new Intercontinental title. I forgot. I still thought it was the white one.
I can't believe you just said the white one looks like shit. I love the white one. I never purchased the white one because it would get dirty in my house.
The white one that was the Intercontinental title before the current one. The original white one, when Sean and them had it, I think it looked a little bit different.
But how much different? I thought it was the same.
I thought
you're talking the one that Cody brought back?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's the same.
I mean,
I think it looks a little smaller, but it's not much. Like I think the appearance of it looks the same.
Yeah. All right.
Either way.
The
new one looks like shit.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I was at it at first. I was like, oh.
I remember you told me. I was like, wait, what?
I'm like, that looks cool. It looks like a New Japan World title. It literally looks like the New Japan World title. Then after that, I'm like, it just looks like a toy.
Yeah. What were you drinking, by the way? I forgot to ask you.
I was drinking a Trogs Hop Horizon. Their spring beer just came out.
Nice. Are you going to get the Austin beer or what?
Depending on the price on it.
We don't have that Cali money, dude.
The IPA, it's good, but it's not $20 a 4-pack. Like, speaking of 4-packs, just talk about beer real quick. I got this beer. It's from the Barn Brewing Company. I believe it's out of Hershey.
Okay.
And it's called 2 Kids No Cash. 8.4 double IPA.
That could be us. Bring that over here, dude. We can each have one.
It's really good, real hoppy, and everything I want in a beer. And it was like $12.
Oh, never mind.
For 4 beers, though.
Oh, that's not bad.
16-ounce cans, that's not bad at all.
No, I just said that's not bad at all.
That's for like a
12 bucks
six-pack.
a can, you said.
Yeah, no.
Whoa.
I drank some very good beer in my life, but I would never pay that much for 8 per beer.
Facts. But that's cool. We should get that. Have it on the show. 2 kids, no cash.
I had that, and I was drinking it over the weekend, and I was like, man, this is good. I was like, because I was thinking about Austin's beer because I was playing WWE 2K, and I saw like this
new one?
Yeah. And I saw the stuff coming out for it, and I'm like, you know what? The IPA is really good, and I would drink it all the time if it was affordable.
Yeah, of course.
Because, like, you look at, too, like, everything with beer and everything else, it's like, you're just renting it, man.
No, of course.
And I like something that tastes good. Don't get me wrong. I'll spend money on beer or food or anything like that. But it's like $20 for 4 beers or pay $12 for 4 beers that actually it did taste better.
Yeah.
So I was like, you're paying for that Austin name. However, it is a really good beer, but you're paying for that Austin name.
Yeah, he's definitely like the Michael Jordan of beer.
Yeah.
Fans.
You're gonna pay pretty much for a 6-pack once you break down like the ounces in a can. $20 for a lager when Yuengling Lager is the best lager that ever existed.
Facts.
And you could get a case of it for $20.
Facts, dude. Facts.
So it's just like, I'm like, that's cool. I love independent brewing and everything else, but it's like, at the same point in time, it's like, you got to make it affordable.
Of course, 100%.
Like, even if it was $15,
I'd
pay
agree.
for it.
Yeah.
But not 20.
Yeah.
Maybe the lager will be cheaper because it is a lager.
Yeah.
And it is cheaper to actually make overall, but...
Dude, Michael Jordan sneakers get more and more expensive. You know what that means? Austin beers are going to get more and more expensive.
What's the most popular sneaker out there? You ask anyone.
Yeah.
Probably from... Maybe
some people would say the Yeezys, but historically it's the Jordans.
I would say if you're a decade, like 10 years older than us or 10 years younger than us, you're going to say Jordans.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe other kids today in high school and stuff might say, oh, yeah, Yeezys or something like that.
Yeah.
But,
it's how Austin's going to be.
Yeah.
It's how Austin's going to be with the beer.
Yeah.
Speaking of Austin, WrestleMania 38 is coming up, so we are obviously keeping an eye on some matches. We see the Edge character growing.
What do you think of Edge's new theme song?
Not bad. I think it was obviously. I think he just had it to debut it, and I think he's gonna try to evolve it right before WrestleMania. Meaning, set his little motions towards it. I think the lighting with it's awesome, and like the way he walks out's cool. I just think he's gonna set a little bit more emotion, or like.
It's kind of cool. He's put like the Brood and his
old one. Yeah. I completely agree. So obviously AJ's coming back out, so that's gonna lead to a build with that match going on. Obviously, Kevin Owens and the Austin segment, whatever it's going to be. I think it's going to be like a 15-minute segment of promo/fighting. That also led to the Kevin Owens-Seth Rollins little storyline where Seth Rollins wanted to have a talk show and have Austin. So the two would have a match to see who was going to host Austin. Kevin Owens retained that honor. So Seth Rollins currently has no opponent for WrestleMania. Now, I obviously wanted Undertaker. I've been campaigning for Taker for about 4 weeks here.
Yeah.
But the reports each day are leaning towards Cody, which, hey, I'm not mad at, but let's say you.
I'm with that, too. I really would actually enjoy that match.
How you booking it, though?
Unfortunately, I think Cody's going over.
What do you mean, unfortunately? Yeah? You're okay? Yeah. You want Rollins to win?
I mean, hey, he's there busting his ass all year. Cody shows up for one payday.
But you don't think he can win on the back end, though?
I mean, I hope on the back end it just goes into a feud. Cody could feud with either Roman, whoever's champion at the time. I mean, I can't see him feuding with Lesnar. Oh, my God. But I could see him feuding with Roman. I think that'd be a really good match.
I think you do Cody Reigns at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I could see that.
But I think well, go ahead, sorry.
He could probably mix it up with him, or who's Intercontinental champion now?
Ricochet. That'd be a killer match.
That'd be a really good match. That'd be super indie. I would actually really enjoy
that.
I
don't think it'll be super indie.
You don't think so?
No, see, I think Ricochet's kind of like, he puts indie spots into his WWE wrestling. And I think Cody has always been WWE. Like,
yeah, even
he does
if you
indie, like he does he'll do a high spot once in a while, but outside the high spot, like his demeanor is slower down. Yeah, I mean, the blood in the high spot. You're right. I'm sure he has that luxury of I don't need a blade anymore. But yeah, like I think he's always had that WWE like slow it down style.
Yeah.
And Ricochet kind of has.
That's what your dad was teaching everybody.
Yeah, true. Yeah. On top of that, yeah. That'd be cool. See, I think he beats Rollins at Mania because Rollins is not expecting him. It's like that Undertaker Cena match. You know what I mean? At 34.
And you want to see the good guy come over. The crowd's going to be really hyped.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like every year for the last couple of years we get like that indie match.
Yeah.
And that's the indie match.
Okay.
Because we had Cesaro, Rollins.
Oh yeah,
we had Owens, Rollins. Apparently, apparently all of them include Rollins or Owens.
Yeah.
But it's like you have those indie guys who work so well and work so hard, and you give them a good match. Like Shinsuke, AJ, it was okay.
It was good.
You know that, and I feel like that's when that kind of started.
Yeah.
So it's like for the last couple of years they have like that indie match on the card.
Yeah.
It's like when WWE back in the day would have like. Bringing a tag team from China or not China, New Japan.
Yeah.
So they would do something like that. So it's I think that'll be cool. That'll be a good highlight on the show. Obviously, it's not going to main event either of the nights.
Now there'll be a feature spot.
Yeah, it's like going to be middle of the card, featured spot, probably Saturday or Sunday. Obviously, it's not going to be a pre-show match.
I can definitely agree with that. I can bet my house on that.
But I feel like Cody will probably do well in WWE now. Because sometimes, like Bruce Prichard always says on the show, he's like, go out and learn a new hold.
Yep, makes sense.
And I think he did. Like, I don't think this American Nightmare character would have ever existed if he stayed in WWE. Yeah, he might have went back to being dashy Cody Rhodes, or he would have went back to being something of like a mix of all of them.
Yeah.
But I feel like they got so much. Like, he learned so much since he left there.
Yeah.
And he's gotten better because he kind of like just think, Cody never worked the indies before.
Yeah, it's how Drew was. Drew got a bigger name after WWE. You could think, I would think that Cody did as well.
I think Drew would I think he would have the same reception as him and Drew McIntyre would be a good feud even after Mania.
Yeah, you're right, yeah. What do you think happens? I saw Pete Dunne debuted. I think originally they were supposed to do like Sheamus, Ridge, Butch, not Pete Dunne anymore. And the New Day. Obviously, I think that's on the back burner.
Yeah, I think Sheamus' cronies is going to be Sheamus and Butch now.
Yeah.
What do you think of that name change?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens. I personally don't like it. Even if you just said like Butch Dunn or something, I think Butch, it's just a stupid name. It's just one word name. First of all, I hate one word names if you're gonna do like a non-gimmick. Does that make any sense?
Butch is like a Polish name too, not an Irish name. So
yeah, so you would definitely know that more than me.
yeah, no, because literally the guy that runs my bagpipe band, I don't even really, I forget. I think his real name's Anthony.
Yeah.
But we call him Butch.
Yeah.
And he's a Polak. It's
insane.
Yeah, it's a Polish name. It doesn't have really any representativeness towards Irish culture whatsoever. And at the same point in time, it's like Butch. Butch, you would think of big dude, big beard.
Yeah, it's
like
also,
gonna
yeah.
whoop your ass, or
Yeah,
like an older guy with like a big beard. Again, like very like Pete Dunne's my size.
Yeah,
very good wrestler.
He's good with the joint manipulation.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, like you're saying Butch is like a brawlic, animalistic name, kind of.
Yeah, and
he
it's like Butch is like you have 25-year-old guys, 35-year-old guys going to watch wrestling. You're like, oh, I could beat up Butch.
Yeah, like I think they should have picked a name if you're gonna do any name change, like similar to like a Ridge Holland, because that sounds like a rugged. That sounds rugged
Holland,
Irish,
like
yeah. I don't know, it's weird. I'm interested to see what happens with him. I don't think he'll get heat. I think it was just
that was an accident.
Yeah, it was just it's just a move that went wrong. I don't know if he let go too early. I don't know if he didn't get enough torque. I don't know if Big E didn't jump high enough because they're both like just thick dudes. Like they're humongous dudes.
Yeah. I was shocked he even tried to do a move like that on the outside. But.
Yeah, I mean that looked bad. I didn't watch it. I saw the
replay,
Big E,
yeah.
and somebody ended up posting on Facebook, so I looked at it real quick and I was just like, how is he moving? So thankfully Big E's okay, but I originally thought it was going to be 3 versus 3.
Who was the other guy that was Sheamus' crony that got on his neck pretty hard?
It was Madcap Moss. That's Corbin.
Madcap Moss, yeah.
Yeah, he's lucky too. Dude, these people's in their neck, man. That's why you got to do those. I mean, people are saying scientifically now neck bridges are bad, but whatever the WWE's doing for these necks, bravo.
Yeah.
Or individuals or whatever they're doing for their necks. Maybe it's not the WWE, but so Big E and Madcap.
There's a workout you can do pretty much where like you put like a weight belt around your neck.
Oh yeah, you just do this.
Just like do that.
Yeah, that's what boxers do.
Yeah.
Shout out to Big E and Madcap. Hopefully long term they're okay, but it sucks that Big E might miss Mania because I'm thinking he's gonna be out 3 months. So. If
I was Big E, I'd be like, all right, listen, I'm going to take a little bit off.
Facts. But it's crazy because Big E and Lashley were kind of like the workhorses, and then Lashley's obviously been out because of a shoulder injury.
Shoulder, tricep.
Big E's out right now because of the neck injury, so it's just kind of upsetting that you do have these workers that bust their ass like you say.
Yeah, the guy who goes to work every day obviously has more chance of getting hurt, unless like Brock Lesnar shows up once a month.
Yeah, so, hey, let's be fair to Brock. He's been good since October.
Yeah, Brock has really been into, I think, whatever he must have watched or talked to or
whatever. He wanted to retire.
Yeah.
So whatever his family maybe drove him nuts. Shout out to the Brock Lesnar family.
Yeah, he's like, I've been locked up with you monsters for 2 years.
So Tom Brady did. Tom Brady's with the family for 2 months, and he's like, yeah, I'm going back to play.
Brady's like, well, we still got the house in Tampa, right?
Yeah, let's go back. I'm going to go back. Shout out to the COVID, just the in-home, I guess work from home or not even work from home for them, just retirement from home. Just makes people go crazy and just go back to work.
Was Tom Brady supposed to go to the Hall of Fame this year?
No, once you retire in sports, you have to wait an X amount of years. I don't think it's different for each sport, but like basketball's like 4 years. I'm pretty sure football's 4 or 5. Same with baseball. So yeah, he would have to wait.
I was thinking like, oh, does he retire, get in the Hall of Fame, come back, and he's like Hall of Famer?
No, only WWE is the only one that you could be active or a year out of activity and do that. So, speaking of Hall of Fame, I think Triple H is going to be going to the Hall of Fame. Don't you think?
I mean, he's kind of already like a one-time Hall of Famer with.
Oh, true. Yeah, you're right.
Generation X.
You're right. Well, anyway, obviously he made some of his biggest matches.
Yes.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna be a separate guy. He's had some of his best matches at WrestleMania, and it's gonna lead to our WrestleMania resume right now. So, obviously he made his WrestleMania debut at WrestleMania 12 as Hunter Hearst Helmsley. And that's where you got the 3 H's from, the Triple H later in his career.
Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Or yeah,
he was gonna be the original Triple
he was going to be the original Triple H brother. But anyway, so his first match was WrestleMania 12 against the returning Ultimate Warrior. So it wasn't obviously the main event match or the co-main event match, but it's going to be like the Cody Rollins match or like the AJ Edge match. It was a special attraction. And that's where a lot of people say his finisher got buried because he did do the pedigree. And Ultimate Warrior said, hold my beer, I'm getting right back up, and I'm going to whoop that ass. And that's what happened. So he had like a 1.5-minute match. Good debut. I'm not going to go through each match, but you know what? I always forget we have listeners. We don't really do graphics anymore. So 13, I'm going off the cuff here, by the way. So if I miss one, Just
I couldn't figure out who he did 13 or 14.
13 was with Gold Dust.
Forgot about that.
That's where China it was her second month in the company, so China had a little prominent point at the end of the match. 14 was against Owen Hart for the European title. 15, kind of a big role for him. This is kind of where he branched out into the Triple H character because he defeated Kane, and then China, kind of reunited with DX, and then like 3 matches later, China and Triple H, or Hunter Helmsley at the time, turn on DX, and they join the corporation. So it's like his big breakout moment. Like with the double cross, it's almost similar to like Shawn Michaels with the Rockers. It was like that kind of monumental thing back in '99. So
yeah, I remember I actually rented WrestleMania 15 from Blockbuster.
Yeah, that's where you thought it was the best ever.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and I was just so confused because like it was like probably 2001 at this point in time or 2000.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why would he turn on DX?
Yep, he did it.
I feel like the 2 most confusing storylines ever, in my opinion, if you didn't watch the whole storyline play out, was Triple H turning on DX and Steve Austin winning the Rumble in '97.
Oh, I could definitely see the '97 one, but I think that's what makes it so cool because it's never been done before.
Yeah.
The DX one, I guess that definitely makes sense because if you think about it, in 2000, they're kind of back together. So it's like why? Like why did you turn on him? You know what I mean? So
for literally 6 months.
Yeah, I can definitely get that. Speaking of 2000, he is WWE champion, and I think he's the first heel to leave WrestleMania as champion since Yoko at WrestleMania 9, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong. Obviously, I'm not fact-checking anything. So #fact-check Lopez. But no, yeah, it was a fatal 4-way, McMahon in every corner. He retains and leaves. 2001 WrestleMania 17 against Undertaker, the first of the 3 matches, where we had 18, comes back from the torn ACL and all the patella stuff, and wins the Rumble, comes in as challenger, wins in the main event against Jericho. 19, kind of the fourth hyped match out of the big 4 against Booker T. He retains. 20, closes out the show in a losing effort to Benoit. Same in 21 against Batista. He was champion in both of those and then ended up losing. 22, came in as challenger against Cena, but ended up losing to Cena. I forgot he wasn't there in 23. He got hurt in January. He was supposed to go against Cena. 24, returns from his injury against Cena and Randy Orton, but loses because Randy Orton retains.
That's what I was missing.
24?
Yeah.
25, we're going to keep it going with the Cena-Orton thing. He main event against Orton and wins. I believe he was champion. Yeah, Orton won the Rumble, so he came in as champion and retained as champion. And kind of a letdown, but that was because of the stipulation with if Triple H gets DQ'd, he loses the title. 26, he kind of gets out of that main event spotlight, goes to like the 3rd match on the card, I believe. It's against Sheamus.
Yeah.
Yep. 27, it's the first of the back-to-back with Taker, so 27's against Taker. Came this close to the streak ending, but Undertaker prevailed. End of an era, WrestleMania 28, with Shawn Michaels as special guest referee. Triple H came up short, my bad. 29 against Lesnar. No, he beat Lesnar. I forgot. That's one of the most forgettable stipulations. It's actually a career match for Triple H.
Another one I missed.
Damn, dude. Come on.
I knew he had 23. That's what I was...
where were we at? 30. He had his match against Daniel Bryan, where the winner would have got injected into the main event match against Orton and Batista. He ended up losing. Daniel Bryan won and then ended up winning the main event. 31 against Sting. Probably the best Gaga match of all time. Gaga meaning the match is what it is, but the extracurricular activity during the match was awesome with the incorporation of DX and NWO. 32, main evented against Reigns. He came in as champion, ended up losing the championship to Reigns. 33, continued his little bond with Rollins and ended up losing. That was where he was a Kingslayer Rollins. 34, actually a good feature attraction match with it was him and his wife Stephanie against Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey won. It was Rousey's debut, probably the best Kurt Angle match since his return, the last return. 35, really good career-ending match for Batista. Batista put his career on the line. Triple H beat him. Where we at 36, did nothing because it was COVID, and 37 did nothing, it was COVID. Right?
Yeah.
So 35 was his last match. Woo!
It's a lot of matches, man.
A lot of matches. Did you tally them up? You said it was 23?
I'm pretty sure I'm going to go again. 2,
I should have
3,
tallied them as I
4,
wrote them
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24.
24 matches. And before we go into this any further, I got to plug the show. I know we did post a couple, Undertaker what ifs with WrestleMania last week. And we got a lot of feedback, so thank you guys. 60 comments, I believe, on the one with, which one was it? Crap. Oh, the best WrestleMania match. And then we got a good amount of comments on how would you have booked him at WrestleMania 10, 16, and 35, because those were the three WrestleManias that he missed before his retirement. We plan to do the same thing with Triple H, where we're going to talk about the questions now. So definitely reach out to us, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at PML Show. And then if you guys just want to listen to us, sorry for that long list, but you guys do want to get the resume, right? So you guys can listen to us on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And then if you guys want to watch us, because he has a beautiful face, we are on YouTube. And our shows come out every Friday in the a.m. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your wrestling family, or your wrestling friends, or your wrestling fans, whoever. But anyway, before we get into it, you guys just got the layout of the resume. Best WrestleMania match.
I think his best WrestleMania match, in my opinion, is the triple threat match with Shawn and Benoit.
Yeah?
That's one of my favorites, and the second one is the cage match, or the Hell in a Cell match with Taker.
The end of an era match, right?
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite match with him, is the end of the era. I always try not to pick a specialty one, so if I were to not do that, I'm going to go off the cuff here. And I will probably go with the Cena match at 22.
That was also a very good match. That's when
that might be more the crowd reaction to me, but
yeah.
I would go that one.
Yeah, I like. So my first question with you on the resume is,
okay,
how would you feel if Triple H ended the streak against Taker?
Well, if you're gonna do it, I would have done it at 17.
Okay.
Even
though that match was just thrown together.
See, I don't think. It was thrown together, but it wasn't, because I feel like those were the two biggest names outside of Rock and Austin, and they did have like 3 weeks to put it together. It was the.
It was better than Kane and Kurt Angle.
Facts. Well, that was at 18.
Yeah.
But
that I was just talking.
Oh,
about
yes, that was legit. Yeah, that was legitimately thrown together. This one, at least they had like 3 weeks. I forget, it was the Monday or a Thursday after the No Way Out pay-per-view. So like they had a good amount of time to build it. It's just that up until February, they both had nothing going on. I just think that that's the best Triple H. Like, I think 2000, 2001 Triple H was the best. So I just feel like if you're going to do that, obviously you still have him for the long haul, so it makes it prominent for him to beat the streak.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where at 27, it's like he's obviously in better shape than Taker, but he's just as old as Taker, so let's just keep the streak going. You know what I mean? We're in 27, 28. But he's always a forgotten person. Like, if you wanted somebody to end the streak, like, you could have done it. Now, obviously, the streak wouldn't have been what it was because it's still only 9 wins in, right? Because 18, he does the 10. So, 9 wins in. So, the streak's not the streak. But either way, like, I think that's a forgotten one of, like, Triple H definitely deserved to have consideration for it.
Another good match of his, too, just to put out there, was him and Lesnar actually were really good.
29?
Yeah. That was a good match. There was like 2 heavyweights in a world where everyone was like 3 inches to 5 inches shorter than them and about 100 pounds less than them.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I think that's just
watch
when
a heavyweight match. That was just
the thing about that's at MetLife in 29. I believe it was cold that day. Price went to that. I remember.
Yeah,
I think he said it was cold. So I feel like the crowd was kind of dead for that. It could have been the time. It could have been the weather.
The Lesnar feud, though, overall,
was very good. Yeah, I was gonna say that SummerSlam to that Mania, I do believe that was a really good Lesnar feud since his like second run or whatever. What was I gonna say? Best match for me. I already gave it. What do you think is his best WrestleMania entrance? Because he's kind of known for like the WrestleMania entrances.
I like the motorcycle thing. I believe that was against Roman, right? We came out like the Terminator on the motorcycle.
I always forget. He did. What did he do at 33 with? It might have been 32.
I know.
But he did something with 33 with Rollins too. But 32, I believe, was
where he came out like the Terminator.
That was at 31.
Had all the gear on and everyone took it off.
That was 31. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was what Rollins said when he came out on the motorcycle and stuff.
I forget. That might have been. No, you might be right, dude. I'm not trying to convince.
He kind of did the same thing twice. More
so maybe
or less.
That's what it was. Yeah.
I think one was with Roman and one was with Rollins.
Yeah.
And one was on a motorcycle, which was badass, I thought.
Yeah.
And then the other one, he came out like the Terminator King. But one of them, the Terminator movie actually came out. So whatever that Terminator.
That was 31 with Sting. He came out through the ramp with
Yeah.
the Terminator gear. 32 and 33. The reason why I'm getting confused is because 32, Stephanie's talking over like everybody.
Yeah.
And then he comes out underneath her. And then at 33, I believe Stephanie's on the back of the bike with him.
Yeah, whatever one that was my favorite one. And my second favorite one is when Motorhead played him out at WrestleMania 17.
Okay, I would say that's my favorite.
Yeah.
And then after that, WrestleMania 30, where he's like on the throne, and it's like Charlotte, Sasha, and I think it's Alexa Bliss.
Yeah.
Like they kind of like disrobe him after, but like just the way he's sitting on that throne with the skull face, it's just cool.
Do you think he has like kind of overall the best WrestleMania entrances? I mean, I do because it's like more or less my style, kind of like rock and roll and like
if there was so that's the thing too, like it's just different of eras, right? Like I think if Shawn Michaels was in this era where like an entrance, like every entrance had to be huge, I think he would overtake it because obviously what he did in like WrestleMania 14 with the band and then obviously 12 with the from the alien. I think Shawn Michaels would have overtaken him, but obviously given like the evolution of Triple H and all that kind of stuff. I mean, actually in 14 he came out with the same band as Shawn Michaels, so like he's actually did it from that early stages too. He understood the importance of it. I definitely think he's like the WrestleMania entrance king. So
what do you think the best? Well, you would say it was him. Who's overall like the best guy to come out with a band.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think everything like that.
Do you see anyone else like doing that? Maybe in the future. I mean, I could see Edge doing it, maybe, but
he should have did that 24.
Yeah,
but it's always weird too. Like I just think Motorhead was like the perfect group to do it. I don't know if there's any. I've always liked. So I liked. Who does Bray Wyatt's? I like Bray Wyatt's.
I don't know who did his. I thought that was cool too, though.
I liked his.
Not a lot of bands too at the same point in time
not
do
anymore.
Wrestling music like they used to.
Yeah.
Because for licensing fees and everything else. Because even if you look back on the network, I mean, Hogan came out to Hendrix Fears. Obviously, Hogan wasn't going to play, or Hendrix wasn't going to play Hogan out because he's dead. But like they take it off the network.
Yeah.
And I feel like it takes away from the match because if they don't want to license the music. Or a lot of ECW stuff. A lot of people came out to AC/DC, Metallica, all those like hardcore.
Well, yeah, because that's pay-per-view, so you got away with it as long as you got it. As long as you didn't play it after a certain amount of time, you had like a time limit. The other thing too is like Triple H even at WrestleMania 18 with Drowning Pool. Remember he always said after a show, man. I used to have their album, but like. I remember after our shows, I'd be like, "Here comes the." I was just always. I used to love that.
Hey!
I used to love that, and I thought that was good. So like. I just think he has the best bands to do that. I mean, that was obviously off the Forcible Entry.
And that was like his style too, though, like rock and roll and everything else. Like even like he kind of mimicked himself after Lemmy, like with
exactly.
The beard and the hair and
like,
so that was kind of his gimmick. It was kind of his gimmick. So it's like a lot of wrestlers don't have that now.
I was just saying, I think it depends on the band because like Bray Wyatt was a little slow, even though I thought it was cool. And Living Color.
Oh, yeah. That was
cool
for CM Punk.
In Living Color was the show. Living Color.
Yeah.
That was really good at 29. But that's also because of the guitar. Like, I think if you have a good guitar, like Bray Wyatt was good in the middle of the song when they do that, when they do like the guitar riffs in the middle of it. So I think it obviously depends on that.
Yeah, it definitely depends on the music.
Like Rolling. You know what I mean? Like Undertaker Rolling, that's a good guitar. Like, that's a good like song to perform with. Yeah, but overall, like Triple H, I think he just had the perfect band, the entrance, the lighting. Obviously, he has that moment where he spits into the crowd. Like, it was just for the flash photography at that time. I just think it's perfect. Like I've always said, like 17 and 18, you want to see like Kodak moments, like watching it on TV, or like goosebumps. It's Triple H, like because with the lights flickering and you could just hear the guitar. Like it's just cool. I definitely think that. So we got best match, best WrestleMania entrance. Any matches you'd rebook? If you need time to think about
honestly, I have one right now that's
okay.
kind of been
Right
like a topic of mine that I've been thinking about a lot lately.
Okay.
It's him and Jericho. I'd actually rather
rebook it or you would respot it?
I'd rebook it.
Oh, what do we got?
I think I'd rather see Kurt Angle win the Undisputed title. Like, I think Jericho could have won it after Mania. But having Angle win it makes so much more sense. Like, because Angle talked about it on his podcast, and I've been watching like old Raws and SmackDowns from that time to kind of like
they had a few going after No Way Out
to tell myself like what's going on, and it's like Jericho kind of gets the title out of nowhere. More or less.
It's the underdog story. Like, who was it? I think it was Pritchard back when he wasn't with the company. So it was like when he first started something to wrestle with.
Yeah.
He's like, Vince loves to do stuff out of the ordinary in the wintertime because the viewership's low. He's like, Jericho winning the title, Mick Foley winning the title, Edge winning the title, Miz winning the title. He's like, that's kind of like how the Money in the Bank's kind of started because it's like most of the time they cashed in the wintertime because viewership's down. Because obviously it's out of WrestleMania SummerSlam season. So that makes sense.
Yeah, so one I would definitely, like him versus Angle at Mania would just make so much more sense because, like, you look at Angle and how popular he was at that point, how he wrestles Kane.
No disrespect,
but no, he was like either way, he was over.
Oh, no, he was.
Like with the stuff with Austin and everything else, it's just like well, Austin was after that, but still, it was
before
like
that.
Well, no, the promos and stuff with Austin was before 17. No, oh wait,
no,
18. We're talking 18 here. Sorry, my bad. So it was after 17.
You recovered your year off, dude.
So either way, that was when I'd rebook.
Can I throw a curveball at you and see if you like it?
Yeah.
How about Jericho, Triple H, add Kurt Angle?
That's fine.
Okay. Better or no? You just want one-on-one?
I think it would be better because it's just I feel like Kurt Angle kind of got kicked in the pants for that pay-per-view.
Okay.
Even though like the next year he has like if you look at what Triple H did the next year at WrestleMania 19, obviously Kurt Angle stole the show.
Yeah. Like they kind of like, oh, Angle, we kind of screwed you over the last year, buddy.
So we're gonna screw over Triple H. Well, actually, honestly, you screw over Booker T and Triple H because another one I would rebook would be the following year.
Oh man!
And just have Booker T win the title.
Oh, okay. But you keep the same match, just a different outcome.
Oh, I think that was awesome that Booker T was there.
Yeah.
And I think he was the best guy on the card to face Triple H at that point in time. But it was like, if anyone in WCW was to beat Triple H, it should have been Booker T.
I agree.
Not Scott Steiner's because he did. Not Goldberg because he did.
Oh,
but it's like Booker T should have been that one.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Because even like everyone says, like Triple H buried WCW talent. Okay, Goldberg was world champion. Scott Hall was Scott Steiner was world champion.
Yeah.
Who else he wrestled from WCW? Kevin Nash won the title again.
Yeah.
So it was like, why not Booker T? 5-time WCW champion.
5-time.
Because he would be going 6-time. I guess because that was still his gimmick.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. So, you have any other ones? Because I'm trying to write some down right now that I thought
honestly,
about.
some other ones too. I kind of wish the first Cena versus him match, he went over.
Oh, man.
What
a mark. What a Triple H mark over
I am
here.
a Triple H mark.
I forgot you actually are as I said that. I thought about it.
I was kind of hoping that like it would have been cool if it was Cena loses to Triple H, gets a title back, goes against Shawn Michaels, loses to Shawn Michaels,
yeah,
and then the next year beats both of them in a triple threat match.
Yeah. 3
years, because they were the same three. I mean, it would have worked out anyways, because it was literally at Mania, wasn't it? Oh yeah, he did the triple threat with Orton, so it's like I would rather that match than the triple threat with Orton.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. 100% sense. I'm trying to write some down. I have a lot. I feel like I have a lot more than only the three. Just because I feel like 22, I don't know, I wish it was like Cena versus somebody else. Like maybe Cena versus Edge. But
I mean, that makes sense.
But I don't know why.
Year.
Yeah, but I don't know why I do with Triple H, though. That's what I'm trying to think. So I don't have that one. I'm starting off with 18. I've always said this. Angle, Jericho, Triple H.
Okay.
I think Angle deserved it. I think Jericho deserved it. I think I would have liked Jericho as the tweener because I've always liked him as a face in that era, although I think he's a better heel.
Yeah.
But I think Angle was so over as a heel, and then Triple H he's a face, but I think I feel like the company didn't have faith behind him. That's why they gave Stephanie to Jericho because realistically that made no sense. Jericho hated Stephanie for years.
Yeah, he called her every name in the book, and all of a sudden he's with her.
Exactly.
So but like literally, like it would have been better if like Angle and Stephanie had like a relationship.
Exactly. So
I always did a whole Jerry Springer thing, like especially when Stephanie thought she was pregnant and everything. Well, made up that she was pregnant. The kid could have actually been Kurt Angle. Instead of Jason Jordan. I mean, it would have been so much better.
So much better. So that's the first one. That's one I always say, like off the top of my head. The other one that came on top of my head, even though they did redeem themselves and they did it at WrestleMania 35, I say WrestleMania 30. I think if you brought Batista back, I think he should have been a face against Triple H. I think them not doing that and him trying to come in as a face going against, Orton when CM Punk and Daniel Bryan were in the mix, it was just a bad booking thing. I think just bringing him in, saying, "Hey, like I hate the authority, how you're making how you're making this all about them. That's why I'm coming back." You do that match at 30. I don't know what you would do at 35 then. Can you do a rematch? I'm not sure. But 30, I think that's what you should have done. And then WrestleMania 25 and 20. The reason why I said this is because if we date back to 2 weeks ago in the Undertaker episode, I said at WrestleMania 25, as good as the Shawn Michaels match was. I mean, it's always the challenge. Like, I always try to rebook the hard matches. I think Jericho and Taker should have been on there, so that leaves Triple H and Shawn Michaels. And I think that should have been the one-on-one match at WrestleMania 20. And I think he should have did Angle, Guerrero, and Benoit for the other title.
I like that.
Again, I think there's another one that I was thinking of. For some reason, 29's coming to my mind, but I could be completely wrong. Oh, actually, realistically, this is a serious note, 31, but I don't know who. Because 31, it should have been Sting Taker.
Yeah.
So, book something with Triple H.
Who would take your face for WrestleMania 31? Bray Wyatt. So you could have Bray Wyatt
You
versus...
could Bray, Triple H. You could have Orton, Triple H.
Because at that point...
the Authority split up.
Because even at that point in time, like, Triple H was kind of in the flux of starting to wrestle NXT talent.
Yeah.
Which was Roman. He wrestled the whole Shield that whole year.
That's true. Could have did Ambrose and
yeah, because it would have been better than Brock and Dean Ambrose.
But that was at 32.
Yeah.
It wasn't shit, so.
But yeah, because at WrestleMania 31, it was the New Age Outlaws and Kane versus
30.
30? Oh, wow.
No, you're good. You're a year off ahead, a year off behind. You're good.
I'm just like...
You're sticking to you're sticking to your thing. But no, 31, those are the things I wrote down, but 31 because it should have been Sting Taker. Where does that leave Triple H? I mean, I'm sure they would have figured something out. Maybe you could have did Cena, because I don't know if Cena and Rusev was the way to go either, but I don't know.
That was a good payday for Rusev.
No, you're right. He deserved it. He came out on Tank, dude.
Yeah.
You can't get a better interest than that.
How do you think WWE, so WWE has gone through many things in life where they probably have regrettable moments. How do they feel about dedicating matches to Vladimir Putin?
It's heel work, though. It's heel work. It's not like they're legit giving him a... They're not legitimately giving him a trophy or celebrating Putin. It's a way for Rusev to get booed out of the building, and it worked.
If you look at it now, and someone like 20
I wonder
years...
if they're going to edit it, though.
Or 30 years from now goes back and watches that, would that be like us watching like a German wrestler like before the Holocaust? Like being like, I dedicate this match to Adolf Hitler.
I mean, probably back in the day.
And I'm just like, yeah. That did not, and I can see the German wrestler at home. Oh, that did not age well.
Honestly, though, I think it's worse, like, Slaughter.
Because it was actually happening, yeah.
Yeah, like, if you think about it with Slaughter and Saddam, like, that's legit. Like, that's an American turning and idolizing. And, like, I think
the war.
Yeah, during the war. And I think, like, he only did it, like, once or twice because I think it was getting a little too, heatish, personally.
And Vince is, like, pro-America everything.
That's what but I think he wanted, like you said last week, to get Sarge a payday. He deserved it. Obviously, he risked his life, so I think he probably paid him handsomely for that also.
Yeah. He's like, we're going to keep you on as an agent, too, for the next 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, that's facts. Yeah, exactly. But, no, I honestly think that's how it was, just to go to 31.
Did you notice, too, like, with Sarge, so I just kind of wrap up on him. He, literally, every wrestling appearance, like, every Monday Night Raw, or every Legends table, or everything like that, Sarge is always there. Everything.
Oh, yeah.
So he's getting, like, he's literally, like, one of the guys who, like, did the territories and everything else, and just got a pension from WWE.
Facts. Probably because of that sacrifice.
Yeah, probably.
That was no joke to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, 30. Just to go back to 31. Yeah, I don't know, but I definitely would have to rebook that because Triple H. You could have honestly did Ziggler versus Triple H because of what happened from Survivor Series.
That would have been a good match, honestly.
So I mean, I'd have to go back and like watch the month build up.
It'd be like him versus Shawn almost capability match wise.
Yeah, exactly. So. That's our rebookings. What's your overall? Give me a grade, not a Malloy, or you can give me a Malloy rating if you want.
I would say he has about, just based upon the cast of characters he wrestled.
He does have
so many matches. I would say like an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. That's legit.
Because he's such a good wrestler, and his stories, his gimmick, his machismo. I guess we could use that, right?
Hey, we started off with it. We could end off with it.
I feel like it was just all there, and. He's one of the WrestleMania greats. If it's not Mr. WrestleMania, the next is always going to be Shawn Michaels. But next to it, I would say, is Taker and Triple H.
Yeah, I got you.
Top 3 WrestleMania performances overall.
Yeah, I can see that. Especially with his entrances. They're always, like, memorable. So, 8 out of 10 for Mr. Malloy. Let's say you, like I said, you guys are listening to our show. Definitely reach out to us. You guys are going to see the graphics for the questions also. Best match, which matches you would rebook. There might even be a WrestleMania 2000 in there. That's always kind of one to talk about.
Yeah, I wish that was him and Rock.
Him and Rock straight up. Yeah. There you go. There's that. So definitely reach out to us. Hit us up. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at PML Show. And then, again, listen to our show every Friday on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
And it's wrap up Triple H. You think there's one more match in him?
I hope so. I really do. I hope it ends at a Mania. I would like to see
him versus Rock at Mania.
Him versus Rock. They did want to do that at 32, but obviously the insurance companies for the movie said, "Not Rock. You already torn your ab or pec or whatever it was, and we ain't doing that again." So, I do hope that he does end it at a Mania, maybe against the Kevin Owens, because I don't think he fought him yet. He already did Rollins and Reigns and Ambrose essentially. So maybe Kevin Owens or Zayn, or Balor, because I think he's close to that niche. So we'll see what happens. But to close out with the Scott Hall, give me what do you think he would have done at WrestleMania 13 if he stayed with the company? Or give me or 14. Give me a later WrestleMania in between. Obviously, he wasn't
between there at 18.
Yeah, 12 and 18. Or 12 and 17.
So I could see him coming back at 17 and wrestling Triple H instead of Taker. 16, I could have seen him in a spot with probably Big Show or something.
I think he'd be in a tag team at some point, he did with Nash, just because of. I don't think. Maybe the Demons would have been. Issues, maybe the Demons wouldn't have been as profound there, because I think Vince is a little more, hey, how you doing, pal? You know what I mean? Where Bischoff's yeah, you're making money, you're fine. You know what I mean? But that's younger Bischoff, too. Didn't know how to run a company, essentially, to me.
Yeah, I would agree.
Production-wise, he did. But I meant, with talent, where Vince did. So I always say, I think him and Austin were doomed to fight. I think he was, the original Austin, a bad guy that was supposed to get booed, but then just got cheered because it was so cool. So, WrestleMania resume with Triple H, Scott Hall. We got all the good stuff on this show. Cody Rhodes might be coming to WrestleMania. Next week, we're going to continue that WrestleMania 38 build-up. And then we'll do, I think we're going to do, I forgot, I did say last week we were going to do it, WrestleMania main events. That's our resume. See which ones are the best ones, the most important ones, the shittiest ones, all that good stuff. So until then, enjoy your weekend, enjoy your week. March Madness is coming up. So hopefully your brackets all stay intact and you guys win some money if you guys have some money on it. Until then, I think the weather's starting to break for the NEPA folks, so get ready for that warm weather.
It's golf season, buddy.
There you go. We're hit those greens. But as always, enjoy your week, enjoy your weekend. Be safe as always. We are the Primalo Show. Rich Lopez, Homeboy Malloy, Top Shelf, Robert Price, always with us. Until next week, peace.